Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome to Back to the Frame Rate, part of the Weston Media Podcast Network. Back to the Frame Rate, where we watch and discuss films on VOD and streaming platforms for your entertainment. I'm your host, Nathan Schur, and I'm here with Ellie Escobar and Brianna Butterworth.
Hello.
Hi. We are here with a special bonus episode where we're going to be discussing the new David Fincher film, The Killer, which just hit Netflix a couple of days ago. And we figured what a great opportunity for us to get together after our main discussion. We just recorded our episode on Body Double, and we decided to just stick around and do a quick little discussion of this new film that just hit the streaming platform. We all just watched this over the past week, and this should be a fun, quick little discussion of this film. Before we begin, I want to ask everybody, where are we all coming in with David Fincher? Because, he has been one of our, I don't know if I'd call him prolific director. I mean, he's obviously been in the zeitgeist for, a good 30 plus years. I just want to talk about David Fincher in general. What are our overall thoughts about him as a director?
I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of David Fincher, but weirdly for a long time, I don't think I connected that the films that I loved were David Fincher films. I don't think I was. I don't think I was putting two and two together. Now, I came to loving movies later in my life. So I wasn't in high school or even in early college, like thinking, I have to see every movie that comes out by this director. That just wasn't really what I was up to. I was just watching anything that kind of struck my fancy, and it just didn't occur to me. So the movies that made him really big, Seven and Fight Club, those came out when I was really too young to have seen them. But I have a brother who's 10 years older than I am. So they got seen anyway, and they were thoroughly enjoyed. But by the time I was in high school and Zodiac comes out and Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Social Network comes out, now I'm starting to see those on my own accord, and I'm really loving them. But I don't think I put together that they were Fincher movies until Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. And then I was like, oh, that's this guy. He's been doing all this stuff. And now I've sort of gone back and I've rewatched them in the context of knowing that they're all the same person and parsing that out.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same as you do. I've been watching all of his films, and I never even realized that this
it didn't clock it, which seems crazy because they look the same. Like he has a really distinctive style.
Definitely.
And so I love all those films, and it wasn't until recently that I realized, wait a minute, because I'm like, wait, is that the same director that directed, Fight Club? And so I think I have not seen The Game.
You're not missing a lot.
And Girl with the Tattoo. I haven't seen the Girl with the Tattoo.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is amazing.
Yeah,
really
I haven't seen that one, but I've seen
that movie.
I've seen every other film of David.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've seen all of them. It's just because
That's the mission I'm on now.
yeah.
I can honestly say I've seen every single David Fincher film in the theater, except for the most recent two, because Mank, I don't know if it had any.
I don't think that had a theatrical release.
I don't know. The Killer did, very limited, and I tried to find a way of getting out to see it. I did not. I saw it on Netflix, but I saw Alien 3 in the theater because I was a huge fan of Alien and Aliens. I did not see those in the theater, but when Alien 3 came out, my anticipation was through the roof, and me and my dad went out to see that. Now, I was a little disappointed in it at the time. It has since really grown on me. I love Alien 3. And I didn't know who David Fincher was. I didn't when I eventually did see Seven, The Game, and Fight Club, which I think were three movies that at the time in the 90s, I think really is when he put his stamp on his signature style. I still didn't really associate that, oh, this is the guy that did Alien 3. You know, I probably wasn't really much online at the time and made that connection. But now I realize, oh, this guy even had his vision back then for Alien 3. Yeah. And I think Alien 3 is a highly underrated film. If it wasn't for the fact that this is coming off the coattails of a masterpiece with Aliens, I think Alien 3 is an incredible film. I might be in the minority saying that, but it is really good.
I don't think you are. I think people look back on Alien 3 with a lot of love for it.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. It is kind of it doesn't reach the standards of Ridley Scott's Alien or James Cameron Aliens. It is a completely different film, but I'm glad that it's not trying to do the same thing as Alien or Aliens. It is a completely different kind of movie. It's a different genre. It's a prison movie, it really is what it is. So it's.
I'm gonna watch it this week. Close out the filmography.
Yeah, so I have a blast with it. So, but it's a dark film. It is not a fun film at all, but But I get a kick out of it. So, like I was saying, I've seen any movie that has had, I guess, a wide release. I have been there like opening weekend. So even that, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, we talked about that. I think that's his only movie that's been like a remake as well. Has anyone seen the original trilogy?
Yeah, it sounds good. David Fincher really did a great job.
They are good, and it's. I really wish that there was I don't know if he was ever considered to continue that series. I wish that storyline was continued with those characters, with Daniel Craig and what's her name?
Yeah. Rooney Mara.
Rooney Mara. Because I think that movie is one of his best.
Excellent. Yeah. It's such a it really wraps you into the world. Like it's terrible and horrific, but it's kind of a cozy movie.
Okay. All right. Well, before we continue, I'm just going to read a quick plot synopsis of David Fincher's The Killer. Solitary, cold, methodical, and unencumbered by scruples or regrets, a killer waits in the shadows, watching for his next target. Yet, the longer he waits, the more he thinks he's losing his mind, if not his cool. The Killer stars Michael Fassbender. And Michael Fassbender, interesting actor. There was a while when Michael Fassbender was on top of the world. I think from like 2010, maybe like 2015, he was everywhere. And I think that he is just he disappeared for a while. And I don't know necessarily what happened to him, but I think it's great to see him, first of all, headlining a movie. I think Michael Fassbender and Fincher, I think are a great match. I think it's, I hope that they continue their collaboration, but I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Let's, kind of like bounce around what our thoughts are on this, because I think there's a lot to dive into on here. I'll just kind of throw this out there. I had a really good time with this movie. I did.
Yeah.
I really did. I think that the opening of this movie, I think is interesting because I wasn't digging this in the beginning. I think this movie takes some time to warm up to it. This is a cold, clinical movie.
Really clinical.
It really is. but it took me about halfway through this movie to like really vibe with this.
Really?
It did. It wasn't until the second half of this when it's clear what Michael Fassbender, he never has a name in this movie, what his mission is, that I was like, yes, I know what this movie is about now. And I really started to vibe with this. This is absolutely the Michael Fassbender show. And I really, really started to dig this. And there's many, many great scenes. I don't know. What did you guys think?
It's so funny. Ellie, you were saying earlier too, it's so funny.
It's such a, there's, in the sense that there's, this sort of cloud because he's killing people and he's terminating people's lives. At the same time, it's just so funny to me. And unlike Nathan, the movie grabbed me not so much with the visual, but with what was said in the movie. When he's talking to himself, and I think I relate to him, to this character, because I'm that type of person that wakes up in the morning and first thing I do is start talking to myself. And I feel like this character talks to himself, because he's waiting and waiting to do the hit, and while he's waiting, he's talking to himself. Because he's not
talking to himself. It's all inner monologue. He's not,
right. And I mean, I have an inner monologue that is consistently like every day. That's just me. I have this other character that I talk to every day, and we go on missions, and so I really love that. And it's there's so many good phrases, lines, quotes from this movie that I just love and I connect with. And listening to this character monologue from the very beginning, I'm like, that's right. I keep saying that's right. And there's one when he says, it's amazing how he says, it's amazing how physically exhausting it can be to do nothing. And that could be so true. Like, I could just get exhausted from just sitting and doing nothing. So I always have to be doing something. But there's so many great things about what he says.
Did you have a favorite line from this movie?
Couldn't tell you. The whole Tilda Swinton stuff. Just half of what she said. Tilda Swinton.
Oh, the scene with Tilda Swinton was incredible. Yeah.
I can't remember an exact line of dialogue that was my favorite, but Tilda's whole attitude towards it, I thought was very funny. When she orders the flight of whiskey.
I love the line where there should be a 7-day waiting period on creatine.
It's funny. There's one line that it's funny because I connect so much to the dialogue in this movie.
That's terrifying insight,
I just
Ellie.
love it. I love it because, I love serial killer movies, right? But this is like an assassin. But the thing is, like, there's so much truth to every line that's been said in this movie. And like one of the things, one of the lines is, stick to your plan.
That repetitive motif that he does.
Anticipate. What is it? Stick to your plan. Anticipate. Don't improve. Don't improv.
Don't improvise.
Don't improvise.
Yeah.
Don't improvise. I forget the rest, but it says, trust no one. Right. Mm-hmm. And there's more to this, but I love this first things because it's like. It's something that I tell myself, like, I
love that he has all these rules for himself that he can't follow. Like, he's the ultimate reliable
he's going,
narrator.
Stick to your plan, anticipate, don't improvise. And I'm sitting there waiting, and he's ready to shoot. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. He's so precise. He's so perfect about everything.
The movie shows him as like very calm, cool, and collected. But I think in another director's hands, he kind of would have been a little bit more bumbling.
But he misses the shot. He misses the target right away. And I'm like, that cracked me
at every opportunity. At every opportunity, he breaks one of his rules.
He's building this up for us. He's like, I'm building it up. Okay, he's all along. He's getting ready. I'm built up. I know he's gonna shoot that person, and he misses. I'm like, oh,
every time. But do you think this is David Fincher sort of taking pot shots at these types of characters that he's written before? Like, do you think this is David Fincher going, should I have done Fight Club? How do I feel about having done Fight Club?
Interesting.
I don't know.
That's an interesting way of looking at this. I mean, like you said, he lays out all these rules for himself, and he can't follow his own advice or this. And I think that makes him just a very layered character. And I don't know. So
I also loved. Okay, I love everything. I love the yoga moments in the movie. Okay, because I'm a yoga guru. I love yoga. I just do my yoga every morning, and then I do. I love the fact that he when he goes to buy a sandwich, but he only eats the ham and the egg. He doesn't eat the bread.
Oh, he's on like keto.
Yeah, he's on a keto diet. I'm like, oh, I need to do that.
This is an example of what I really enjoyed about this film, because it's so rare for for film to be showing us so much of this kind of character building, where we see a character like this, how he makes this mistake, but we're seeing what he has to do to clean up this mess. It's so clinical, and I love the attention to detail. I love it shows how he has to drink out of his own cup, how he has to spray down everything to get the residue off of him. Everything feels so tactile, and how he has to disperse of the evidence all over the city. The first 50 minutes of this is really just him cleaning up a mess, and it's this inner monologue. I actually, like I said before, I was struggling with this a little bit, because I was really wondering, is this going to be the whole movie? But the second half of this movie retroactively saves the first half of this one, because now I learned to appreciate why I spent this time with him, seeing his process. I was like, aha. And now, like, I like the fact that I got to see how he has to live his life and get into his head. It pays off, because now I learned about who he is and why he is the way he is, and the mistakes that he made, and the consequences of that. It all builds to something, and I really learned to appreciate that. And when the second half, like 15 minutes into this movie goes bonkers. It does. He starts taking out, these people, and it's amazing. There's a scene where he breaks into, I think, Charles Parnell's office. What I love, and I don't want to, please stop me if I'm hijacking anything here. This movie, I think, kicks into gear here, because one of the things I love about this film is, in any other assassin movie, if somebody was trying to break into an office or any place, he would just like whip out the tool. I got the thing right here, the key card, and get in. He goes into a place and says, okay, this is what I need to do to get in here. And then he figures out, leaves, hops on Amazon, buys the thing, comes back the next day. It shows his process for figuring this out. We are in his head learning these things in real time as he's learning these things. No other movie I've seen do anything like this. Him going to rent the car. This is like the Fincher process. This is something that it reminds me, there's definitely a companion piece would be maybe like Fight Club, where there's so much, I feel like, what Edward Norton was doing, maybe with that monologue in there. But I'm trying to compare this to something else in his filmography. But I think
it's kind of, you can kind of get Zodiac-y with how precise everything is. But I think this is Fincher's most meta work in that way. I think it's one of his only, I think, real character-driven movies. I think the plot really takes a back seat in this. I kind of think Fincher cares less about it. I think in the context of where Fincher is in his career, this is super interesting, where he reflects on these sort of male anti-heroes and turns them into this failure, this person who bumbles around, this person who doesn't who he's built himself up to be in his mind. And I think that's really interesting. And it's also interesting in the context, it came out right after Mank. And, Mank was what I think a lot of people felt was the botched job. I don't feel that way, but I think a lot of people were like, this is a step back for Fincher. And then it's his clinical he returns to form, and he's going to really show it in your face.
The cinematographer had something interesting on I think radiotimes.com. The cinematographer was Eric Messerschmidt, and he was talking about this, and he was speaking for Fincher, and they were asking about clarifying what you're talking about. And he said, don't look for a theme in this movie. The film is about process and procedure. He's talking about this right here. So I thought that was speaking right about this right here. It's precise when the character is precise, and it's messy when he's distraught. And that is what really intrigued me. So that's a quote.
This is where I connect to this character so much, because if you're so I have a process to everything that I do, and it has to be organized in a certain way, or otherwise it doesn't work for me. So like every morning I have to tell myself this, and I have to do this, and I have to do that, because I have a job that requires me to do to be very focused and attention to detail, to avoid mistakes. And so I'm always like talking to myself and okay, this is what we're gonna do. But I also felt the connection when it comes to the messy part of it, because I'm such a klutz. Like I could be like, I have everything ready, everything's set, the mission's gonna be accomplished, and then something drops. I'm like, what the heck? Seriously?
Yeah, it's just life.
And I'm like, and then I go, seriously, Ellie? Like, come on. So she starts to talk to herself. And so I love this character, because in a way, obviously I'm not an assassin, but it's a job that he's performing.
How do we know you're not?
Yeah, really.
No one's ever going to know, the real job that I do. But, but to me, it's like such a, it's like you say, it's the process of what he has to go through to do the job right. And yet we see a human side that is like, as much as he prepares, as much as organized as he is, as much as he gets it down to the T, he's going to mess up.
Yeah.
Because that's what I don't know how many humans do that, but I know that's what happened to me. It's like,
a great example is, his botched attempt to, when he goes, especially to that Florida swamp home where he's trying to take out one of these guys that he's twice as big as him.
Really fun camera work there.
One of the great scene, one of the best fight scenes I've ever seen put on film. I mean, this is up there with John Wick style choreography. It's not seen, but back I reviewed this movie. I put a little thing on Letterboxd. This is the anti John Wick, because John Wick can do anything, and this is like the anti of that. But I'm
telling you, it's the protein and the yoga. That's it.
But what I'm saying is the fight choreography, and this is wonderful. They're using anything and everything in this house as a weapon, and it is one of the most gorgeous and greatest fight scenes I have seen in a film in ages. It is a highlight for this movie. I don't know. You guys have any thoughts on this scene?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought the camera work was really fun. It kept me super engaged. These are the kind of scenes that my mind can tend to drift a little bit when things get super actiony. It's just not my favorite, but that I was engaged the whole time. I was really into it. I thought they were funny. I thought they were smart. Ellie, what about you?
No, I loved that. I don't think there's anything in this movie that I didn't like. I loved everything from the very get-go to the very end. And I think I just fell in love with this character.
Now, how about the ending? And what I will put a little spoiler warning right now, because I do want to just say a couple things about the end. If you have not seen this movie, because it is brand new, maybe you could end the podcast now. But I want to mention right now a few things about the end, because he visits. There's a final confrontation with the client named Claiborne, played by Arliss Howard, and I want to throw out there, why does the Fassbender character not take his own advice in this scene and let him live? What are your thoughts on this? I have my own opinions on this, but I'd like to kind of throw that out there.
What scene was that? I'm sorry.
The very end, he lets Claiborne live. He has every opportunity to kill the final guy, and he says, and he walks away, letting him live.
I thought it was great. As to, like, are you asking what his motivation was for that?
Yeah, I mean, I love it, but I'm just curious what it's just kind of like out there dangling. And I've read a lot of some of the negative reviews that I've read. I know, Ellie, you don't read reviews, but I like to read what other people think about this movie, and so much backlash comes back to this movie hanging on how much people dislike this ending.
I thought it was so great. I really thought it was Fassbender. Like, he's been put through the ringer. You're introduced to him as a character who has not yet failed. Now he has this mission that's incredibly personal to him, and he keeps messing up, and it's gotten really messy, and he's gotten super overwhelmed. And then he gets to this point, and I don't know, Fassbender to me kind of played it as just a little bit exhausted. He was like, all right, this guy really does seem like too dumb to kill. Like that was sort of my takeaway. I think Fassbender was just like, I just want to go back with my woman while she recovers and enter into retirement, because I'm so done with how futile all this is. Because that's what the guy was saying, right? He's like, I don't even know. I just called someone. I just pushed a button. Like,
at that
whatever.
point, I mean, he had no problem killing like a cab driver that was completely innocent in this, right?
Yeah, but I think he just got, I don't know. I mean, I don't think like a serial killer. I just thought he kind of got to the point where
I feel by the end of the film, my thinking is that I just feel like he didn't feel like he had a problem with Claiborne anymore after everything. He just wanted to
I think he just realized how distanced, like, the person who made the call was from all the action that did all the damage. And he was just like, this is insane. Just like, all right. Yeah.
What a choice, though, from Fincher.
What a choice.
It's so Buck's convention, because I feel like 9 out of 10 other movies would have put a bullet in that last guy, walked off into the sunset. That's what I think most of us were expecting.
I don't think Fincher does that a lot. I think Fincher likes to leave us on a little bit of a something else could happen here. You never know.
But I feel like that's a Fincher thing. I mean, he doesn't give us what maybe you would expect.
Like Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, they meet again, right? Then you have Gone Girl, they get back
Fight
at the
Club
end.
does
Don't
a
expect
similar
that.
thing.
Fight Club.
Yeah, exactly. I've been wrestling with this over the last couple of days, and the only thing I can really come up with is he lets him live, possibly because it's a debt that he can collect later on. This is a very powerful man, maybe. And what is the advantage? Is there advantage to sparing his life? Is this mercy? I don't think it's mercy necessarily. It has to be a calculated move, is all I can think. But it's not obvious. It's not outwardly saying that. Like I said before, he didn't hesitate at all to murder anyone that got in his way before. By sparing Claiborne is perhaps somehow insurance. But it doesn't say this outwardly. But his murder may prompt an investigation, but of a super powerful billionaire. So I don't know, but harkens back to his rules. And he says it. Ask yourself, what's in it for me? And maybe he just thought that he is more valuable alive as an asset for future use. That's all I can really speculate on. is when I think about that. So I don't know. It's interesting, but I like the fact that Fincher kind of,
Well, didn't he tell? Doesn't he tell him Claiborne at one point that he has no issues with him?
That's what Claiborne tells Fassbender, right?
Yeah.
That I have no beef with you. He's very convincing. I get it, but it just seems like somebody who's just I can't hear you.
I think everyone did a great
broke
job.
his own rule, though, right? Because he says, "Stick to your plan, anticipate, don't improvise, trust no one."
Yeah.
Well, he did that all the time.
Yeah. He's horrible at following his own rules. Yeah.
But he does say, "Fight only the battle that you're paid to fight."
Yeah.
So
maybe he just wanted to show him that I can get to you whenever I want, and this is my insurance. Don't screw with me. That's what he wanted to show, that you're not safe. I can get to you. And he could see in Claiborne that he was scared. He knows that.
Maybe we're going to have
I don't know, though. He didn't do anything for, sorry, Ellie. He didn't do anything for like demonstration sake, though, throughout the whole film. He did just he failed. He wanted to do like clean, quick kills.
Or maybe he thought he was so perfect that he could do it. But then, but I'm thinking maybe there's going to be, maybe, it was left that way so that there's a part 2 to it.
We'll see. So anyways, I think it was a good little discussion on The Killer. Oh, by the way, I do have to say, before we go, top tier score from Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross. Loved it. I think this is the best since Social Network, maybe even better than Social Network. I loved it. Incredible. I think we have to mention that the Smiths, not a big Smiths fan, but the needle drop for How Soon Is Now is perfect.
Some of the reviews for this called The Killer the least toxic Smiths fan, which has been cracking me up for a week. But I think Girl with a Dragon Tattoo might still be my contender for best Trent and Atticus score.
I don't know. This is up there. I haven't seen Girl with a Dragon Tattoo since
I'm just doing
2011.
my rewatch. Yeah,
it makes me want to. I do need to revisit some Fincher. Before we go, I want to do one quick thing. I want to hear everyone's top 5 Fincher.
Oh yeah. Ellie, go for it.
On a whim right now.
7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How I feel about serial killers. So, Zodiac. Fight Club. I really love Fight Club. How many is that? 2. The Strange Life of Benjamin Button.
Oh, really?
Oh my
Interesting.
goodness. I love that movie.
That does feel Ellie core.
Forever. I love that movie forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Okay. What else? The Gone Girl, right? Gone Girl. Is that 5? Is that 4?
I'm not writing these down.
Wait. Okay. I Panic Room, because I freaking love Jodie Foster. Okay, so
as you should.
Yes. Yeah. That's it. Those are my favorite 5 for me.
All right. In no particular order, I have Zodiac, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Gone Girl, Zodiac, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, Gone Girl, Social Network. And I'm torn between Fight Club and 7. I think I'm going to go Fight Club.
Okay. And I think I kind of did a quick list. I'm going to go from 5 to 1. I think I have Panic Room at 5.
Just haven't seen that yet.
Yeah. Zodiac at 4. No. Gone Girl at 5. Gone Girl 5. Panic Room at 4. Zodiac at 3. Fight Club at 2. 7 at 1. There we go. There's the list.
Oh wow,
Interesting.
I had
Zodiac's that low for you. Oh, I think Zodiac's a perfect movie.
yeah.
Zodiac,
it is.
I have Zodiac at 3. That's
I
pretty
didn't know
low.
we were supposed to rank them from like bad to.
No, I did no order.
I just kind of did it. Where do you think The Killer on the whole oeuvre of David Fincher? Top tier, middle tier, lower tier?
Top tier
think
for
it's-
me.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of top tier movies. I think he could kind of rotate out for that number 5 slot I have. Like, I could easily supplement Fight Club for some other Fincher movies and be fine with it. Watch The Killer, watch Seven.
Yeah, Gone Girl is the one I will supplement for a Killer. That too.
I realized there's so many I have not revisited in a long time. The 90s movies I've seen over and over again, but I think his everything after
Like mid-2000 run.
everything from after Zodiac, like I have never revisited Benjamin Button. I have not revisited Social Network. I have not revisited Dragon Tattoo. I haven't revisited Gone Girl. All those movies I've seen one time in the theater and I haven't gone back to them. And I really should see them again.
I've
So,
seen Benjamin a lot, and I freaking love Benjamin, and Fight Club. I've seen it a few times.
Yeah. So
Rock and roll.
thank you, everyone. And until next time. And I'll do my little. So that concludes our
Like, subscribe.
bonus show. Yeah, that concludes our bonus show for this week. We appreciate you listening to our bonus episode. As a final reminder, if you're enjoying what you hear, please consider leaving a rating and review. Your support truly brightens our day. You can leave these ratings and reviews on platforms like Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen or engage with our content. To stay updated, don't forget to subscribe to our monthly newsletter, Frame Rate Monthly, by sending an email to backtotheframerate@gmail.com. Back to the Frame Rate is a proud member of the Weston Media Podcast Network. Stay connected with us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Twitter. Where else? I don't know. all those places. YouTube as well. You can find us all these places at Back to the Frame Rate. And of course, the most effective way to support us is by sharing our episodes and content on your social media platforms. Your support means the world to us. That's it.
And remember, stick to your plan, anticipate, don't improvise, and trust no one.
Thank you. Goodbye.
I want you to know it's over.
Well, bye.
This is where projects come to life. Our showrooms are designed to inspire with the latest products from top brands, curated in an inviting, hands-on environment, and a team of industry experts to support your project. We'll be there to make sure everything goes as planned, from product selection to delivery coordination. At Ferguson Bath, Kitchen, and Lighting Gallery, your project is our priority.
Schedule your showroom consultation and see more from brands like Monogram at build.com/Ferguson.